Yes. I'm unmuted. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Take a seat. Comfortable. What's going on, Gary? Hey, Lady B. I am the cloud. What's up? Text me, y'all, in the chat. What is going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to the Entourage. This is our very first relationship panel. Make sure y'all put a one in the chat before I get into it. Y'all know how that goes. Go ahead, put a one in the chat, and then I'm going to introduce the panel, the Entourage. If you all are interested in joining the panel, make sure that y'all reach out. Y'all can hit me up. You can email me if it's something that y'all would be interested in. But right now, we got us a real solid group. And I think it's going to be fun. We really pumped up to have this conversation. We were working behind the scenes to make sure our audio was right. Everybody had the name right, the Cash App up there, and whatever else they wanted to make sure they communicate. And so the panel is ready. We don't have to wait for nobody to log on. We are good. And so let's go ahead and do our roll call. What's going on, y'all? I'm so excited. We're going to start at about the 10-minute mark as usual to give folks a chance to get the alert, get in, get settled. And then too, I hope y'all already rubbed yourself down with your Kansas body glaze and your body buff and your body blow. And comfortable, got y'all a glass of wine or something. I want y'all to put in the chat what y'all sipping. I am drinking coffee this late at night. I know I'm gonna regret it. But let's go ahead and do our check-in. We got Lucy is in the house. What's up, Lucy? We got Ken's big sis. You like the music? Me too. It did give, someone said a skate vibe. It did. It gave a little something that's like dun, dun, dun. I like it. It reminds me of an actual song. It'll come to me at some point. I'm like, I see what you're doing there, sample music. It's very reminiscent of something. What's up, Dimples? I am the clout. I saw your message earlier. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Lady B, what's up, girl? Carrie, my girl Carrie is in the house. Naomi is here. Satin Baby Doll. Nikki B is in the house. What's going on, girl? Okay, now y'all coming in here with y'all. BK Lakeisha, yes. Hey, y'all listening while trying to stay awake. Well, hopefully that won't be hard to do. We are going to be chatting today about emotional maturity in relationships and also successful co-parenting. It's going to be interesting. We're going to really get into it. You said it sounds like some Donna Summers. I'm drinking kombucha and rub down with canvas strawberry. That's what I'm talking about. Jack and Coke. That's A. Let's go. Can you also... All right, so I want to get in here. We're 8 minutes in. I really want to give folks a couple minutes more so that we can introduce the panel. And then get started, y'all. What y'all up to tonight? I'm so happy it's Friday, y'all. Like, seriously. I'm getting more and more happy about Fridays, and that means that I need to reassess some stuff. I really don't want to be chasing Fridays, you know? I'm drinking red Kool-Aid again, girl. I'm not mad at that. I may have to go in and make some. I thought about that a few days ago, of like trying to go back to see what Kool-Aid tastes like. I haven't had any since I was a child. Miss Disha 2020, welcome to the Opinionation. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get our panel on the line. Ken says she's drinking water, love the music, put the mind of love come down. So, yes, from the 80s. That's what I'm getting from it, Ken. Gail checked in. What's good, Gail? All right, so let's go ahead and introduce the panel for this evening. Now, bear with me because this is tricky. Hold on. Boom, it worked. All right. Y'all, I had to play with this. Coach Dion is in the house. Hey, Coach Dion, I'm so happy you're here so you can give me some notes. And if you know what, if we need to pop you on up here to put a bow on anything that we saying, if we sending folks off, please let me know and I will drop the link for you to hop up here. And later on, we will drop the link for folks to come and ask questions and really make this engaging. So yeah, we ready. Okay, one quick thing. All right, let's go. So y'all know me. I'm your girl Unpopular Opinion, and I have brought some friends together tonight to have some grown up conversation. Um, I'm sending some notes behind the scene. So if y'all joined my live the other day, I told y'all that we're doing a little bit of a rebrand. You all know that I sent out a poll asking what do people want to see. Y'all said that y'all want to see some panel discussions because that one panel we did was so bomb. And so, we back at it, giving the people what they want. Also, just kind of elevating the conversation a little bit. And so let's go ahead and get into the panel. I'll let everybody, come off mute, introduce yourself. Why did you want to join the panel? And just a little bit of background information, not too much, child, because y'all know how these people are out here. But what made you want to join the panel to have this type of a discussion? And so let's go ahead and let's start with our girl, Tiffany. Tiffany, go ahead and talk to the people.
Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? Um, like she said, I'm Tiffany. I'm 49 years old from Georgia. Um, I wanted to join the panel because as far as relationships, I my husband recently passed away in 2021, so I'm navigating finding love or wanting to be with someone during this time, and just anticipating starting over and just looking for tips on how to get out there and learn somebody different. It gives me quite the anxiety, and I'm not sure where to start. So I wanted to join to get insight from other ladies that maybe go through this. I could give me some tips. Uh, that's my story.
And I'm so happy that you kicked it off like that because it really is doing a better job than I did of introducing this series. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the entourage, y'all. So this is ladies coming together of a certain age bracket. Y'all know the age group of the panel is between 35 and 55. Because we want to keep it within like the niece, auntie, big cousin, big sister conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
in the future, we'll have more conversations with different mixtures of ladies because I think that it does change the dynamic of the conversation if there's too much of an age gap for the participants. But this is just for us to get together to talk from our different perspectives, our different generations, pour into each other, give advice, talk about some really complicated things. And maybe some folks will get something out of it and it may make y'all life a little bit easier, or at least just have some place where y'all can come and talk to some grown, healed women, some folks that have figured out we ain't perfect. We working through it. We're able to take accountability. But it's all about growth over here. So I'm really excited
Right.
for this. So next up, Coy, what's going? So Tiffany, you say you're 49.
Yes. 49.
Okay, and I'm 43. So
Oh,
Tiffany, you are
am I the
you're
oldest
at the
one?
end. No, I don't know. I don't no, you're not. But
Okay.
Tiffany, you are you're what are you, Gen X? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess
Okay,
I
yeah.
could
So you're at the
consider
end.
that Gen X. Yeah.
Yeah, you're still Gen X because I'm the first year of millennial.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Coy, introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, my name is Coy. I am 37 years old. I'll be 38 in a week. I'm originally from
Libra.
Chicago, Southside Libra. Big auntie energy over here. Um, I am not a parent, but I have been in enough relationships to contribute to that conversation. And I joined because unpopular opinion told me what was going on, and I thought it was such a great idea. Super excited to be here, and I look forward to engaging with this audience and this panel.
Thank you, Coy. So no children. You're 30. You said 37.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you know that in this on this sector, that would make you a little sis. I
Well,
don't think that you'll be considered
that
auntie.
I'm definitely auntie. I'm just little
You are
auntie.
auntie. Yeah, little
Yeah.
auntie.
You ask my niece
You
and
got
my
auntie
nephew.
energy.
I'm big auntie, but no, I guess I reckon I would be the youngest one in the in the chat today,
Yeah, today. Maybe not
or
in
on the
the
panel anyway.
right. Yeah, maybe not in chat, but definitely on the panel. But for this, for all intents and purposes, you might be baby sis, but that's good. That's fine. That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, all
Yeah,
in,
well,
I'm just saying for the age group of the, it trends
yeah, no,
very
I get it.
older. Yeah. Okay,
But I think
all in
that's the
unity.
interesting thing about it. We have these levels or tiers of perspective, and like you
Right.
said, the people tuning in, there's representation for everyone here, so that's cool.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, so you a solid millennial. I'm a geriatric
Definitely.
millennial. So you are definitely solid. I was told that it's called a geriatric millennial, and I almost popped that person in the mouth, but that's fine.
Wow.
Um, no, I'm just joking. All in unity, you up? What's going on, girl? Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Hi. Yes, I go by All in Unity because I like unity. My name is Sharon, and I'm married. We have three adult kids. 55 years old. All of our kids are in their 30s, so they're like y'all. I'm a Gen X. Um, and the reason that I wanted to be a part of this panel is really, well, for one, to help me with my public speaking because I don't like speaking in public, but I feel as though, as old as I am, hopefully I can, be some type of motivation and encouragement to the other women, and also receive motivation and encouragement for myself because I'm never too old to learn from anyone. So I'm here
Mhm.
to just, bring what I can, offer from my experience in life and just things that, go on with my kids and my husband, my
Mhm.
marriage. And it's like a blended family because you have step kids. But I'm just hoping that I can learn from you all, and I hope I can share some things that you can take from me. And I just thank you, Unpopular Opinion, for this opportunity. And I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for agreeing to join. And you are definitely, not that I'm trying to label everybody, but this is just to show how everybody has a space on the entourage. You're definitely big cousin. Like this is you're not like you can't be my auntie or Tiffany's auntie. You may be able to be, no, you couldn't be Koi's auntie either. So we're still in like big cousin sister vibe at
Sister,
this
yeah.
moment. So right. So this is going to be these are the types of conversations, like for me, like having those discussions with your older sister or your older cousin are like the best
Mhm.
because they're not so far removed from like where you are in life. Like it's still very recent for them, so they can empathize. And then there are so many things that have changed for the younger generation too, that there's some two-way information opportunities here, and that's just really, really exciting. Okay, and then last but not least, we have stylist Gio is talking. What's up, Gio?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear you. So why do you want to join
Okay.
well, I asked you to join the panel. I literally added you, but why did you agree?
Ex- Actually, I agree because, for one reason, I felt like when I stumbled across you on YouTube, you were speaking my my talk on how you kind of executed it in a different way, a little bit more explicit, not explicit, but you did a great job. Let's put it that way. And when I started listening to you, I was just like, I like her. She's speaking different. She's speaking my conversation. And I thought you were a little bit older, but you were not. I'm older. I am. Hello, everybody. I am stylist Jill is talking. And I am actually this year, I will be October 23rd. I will be 54. I am twice married, once divorced. Okay. So I got divorced at 39. I remarried at 50. I have three sons. They're 34, 29, and 28. I am a grandmother of four, a 13-year-old, a soon to be 12-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
Oh, wow.
I'm a licensed
Yes, ma'am.
cosmetologist. Okay. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I have been in this profession since I was 20. So dealing with women over 34 years in a salon setting, I have heard hundreds of stories. I've had my own stories, my own trials, my own tribulations. And to get to a place where women feel free to come through a door and talk to you and lay things on you, it's constant. But it is a wonderful field that I'm in because I see every avenue. Whatever a woman is going through, I probably already heard it within my 34 years of being a stylist. So nothing is new. Some of the things I went through myself, some of the things I am still going through myself. But to be on this panel, I felt like even my clients, they always like, why you don't have a podcast? You need to talk to me because you are a counselor, and I'll sit there and I'm like, yeah, true, true, but not true. But I know I'm a safe place where women can come into my establishment and they can let go. They can release. I have women that I do their sisters, I do their mothers, I do their mother-in-laws, but whatever they say, it stays there. And I truly do believe that women need a safe place. We need a place where we can vent, a place where we won't be judged. Now, we can have opinions about things, and people accept those opinions, and we can see things from a different side. So I actually love this platform here, and I wanted to be a platform because I know too, it sounds like I could speak and I talk all day, but I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone here because it's something that I wanted to do, but and I had this channel for a while. So, especially my YouTube channel, I had it for a while and I did hairstyles and things like that on it, but it just sat. And then when COVID happened, it's just like, oh, okay. But now I just felt like I ran across you. I ran across some of the other women that had a different perspective on things. And I liked the conversation and I like how it was moving forward. And it wasn't at a steady pace or at a stagnated place. It was elevation. It was movement. And that's what I liked about it. So I'm happy to be over here on this panel tonight.
I'm excited to have you on the Entourage, right? And I love this panel already because of the varying perspective. And I didn't say anything about mine. I've been married for, I think this is year 17 or 18. I don't know why I can't keep up. So I'm 43. So that says a lot, right? I've been married for most of my adult years. So I think that's also a unique perspective as well. I met my husband when I was 21 or 22. And we have been, we've been together collectively 20 years. So that would mean that I've been married 17 years. That's crazy. I have two little ones. Well, one teenager and a school age kid. And I can't say obviously that I've dated a whole lot, right? So high school and college. And I did a lot of dating in college specifically, right? So my perspective is not necessarily across multiple relationships, right? But one area that I can kind of speak to is the fact that you can be in a long-term relationship and it honestly is like multiple relationships because you're growing with a person, right? So like me meeting my spouse at 21, 22 years old, I'm definitely not the same person I was at 21, 22, right? Right. So like, and neither, he's a little bit older than me. He isn't the same person either. So we've had to be reintroduced to each other multiple times across these 20 years where it has been several different relationships in one. Right. And I think that that's also a unique perspective because, you know, there are lots of things that happen in relationships where people give up too. Because we have this idea that we're with the same person we married. And that's just not true. Like, I know I'm not the same person, but I haven't always had this understanding. Like, this is something that I've had to grow into, and recognize that it is the same person, but it isn't the same relationship. This has been multiple relationships within one marriage, right? And so that's the kind of perspective that I can add to this, and just the growth of being someone in their early 20s to someone in their early 40s, right? And the changes and the navigation and all the things that have had to happen in order to have a healthy marriage that has lasted almost 20 years. So I'm so happy that all y'all are in here. So we're going to get into it. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. So I have, just to kickstart the conversation, I do have a quick little video that I want us to react to. Now, the topic tonight is co-parenting and emotional maturity. They're two separate topics, but then they're not, right? And they play together. Like, in order to have successful co-parenting, you absolutely have to have emotional maturity. So I'm going to do this as a disclaimer. A disclaimer. I should put this on the ticker at the bottom. If y'all have kids around, make sure y'all understand that this live is not for children. This is a grown woman conversation. There will be language. There will be some harsh words spoken. And if you are sensitive to 4-letter words, I'm going to ask you to kind of try to just get over it. Don't miss your healing because it ain't packaged the way you want it to be packaged, because I want to introduce y'all to somebody who I feel like has helped me mature drastically, just as a woman. And this person I've never met. I've talked about her a lot on my channel, though. Her name is Love Dorsey. I call her my hood online therapist because she literally got me together in like 3 videos, whereas 5 years of therapy couldn't do. But she gonna cuss you out. So I just want to show like a really brief clip, and then I'm gonna get y'all to react to it. Does that sound good? And then that'll just kickstart our conversation for the rest of the night. Okay. So y'all go ahead and mute. How y'all doing in the chat? I see Tyler is in here. What's good? Michelle just hopped in. What's good, y'all? This is gonna be fun. So I'm gonna tell y'all in advance, I apologize for anybody who's gonna get triggered in these conversations. If you feel like you need to cuss us out in the chat, that's fine. We ain't gonna take it personally. But you might not like some of the stuff that you hear, because again, this is a panel about accountability. I picked these folks and put the call out for something very specific. We're not gonna do no trauma bonding or any of that. And so make sure that y'all ready, because you might hear something that might hit you wrong, but know that if it hit you away, it meant that it was for you, right? So let's just use that. We got baby sis Tyler in the chat. There go another baby. Well, she baby sis. Tyler, you just turned 33 this past weekend. When is your birthday? Is it today? Y'all tell Tyler happy birthday again, because I don't remember if her birthday passed or if it's what day it is. But Tyler just turned 33, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Let's get into it. Y'all go ahead and mute yourselves, and then we're gonna get into this.
Of it is in our culture, when you take something and you weaponize it, you turn it into its value being less. So I'll give an example, and I'll start with things that don't have anything to do with children, because again, I'm trying to raise awareness, right? When you take something like pussy, if me and you in a relationship and every time I get upset, I tell you, you can't get no cat. You can't get no cat. You can't get no cat. I'm talking about small upsets, big upsets. I don't give a damn. Bitch, I make you get the fuck on, like, and you ain't get no pussy. After a while, the person becomes accustomed to that pattern. And And the pussy that they wanted first has less value, not because it don't get as wet as it got before or it ain't as good as it was before, but because when you play in a motherfucker face with something so much, right, to the point where they get used to the pattern of you playing with this shit, they will develop a space of I don't give a fuck about it. It's the same on a job. If every day I come to work for you, anytime I do anything wrong, even if it's small or big, you threaten to fire me. After a while, guess what I'm going to say? I don't give a fuck if you fire me, bitch. This ain't the only job. Now, at one point, I probably valued the fuck out of this job. This job held weight. You might have come in and got on my ass. I'm speeding to get to work because I know I'm late. After you threatening to fire me so many times, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Fire me, I go find another job. And it's the same from employer to employee. You might work somewhere, and every time you turn around, your junior at the job is saying, I quit. I don't give a fuck. I'll walk out. What happens after a while is HR goes and starts looking for somebody else as a backup to fill this space whenever you quit. And so you become less valuable. This just basic understanding of how humans process shit. If I was supposed to give you some money, and I keep playing with you. Y'all females know what I'm talking about. A nigga say, I'm going to buy such and such for you. And then you call him, he ain't answering the phone. He playing like he don't want to give you the money. What once was valuable, them few dollars he was going to give you to buy something. After a while, you feel like, bitch ass nigga, you ain't got to answer the phone. If you ain't want to give me the money, you ain't have to give it to me. It ain't the end of the world if you don't give me the motherfucking money. You ain't finna let nobody play with you over a couple dollars. At one point, the couple dollars was, you see how everybody can agree like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's the same for children, bitch. If you sit up and every time a nigga make you mad, you ain't for to see these kids. You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, you got a new bitch? You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, you lied about this? You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, you ain't doing this? You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, you ain't answer my phone call? You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, your mama and them said what? You ain't for to see these kids. Oh, I seen you post. You ain't for to see these kids. Do that enough, bitch, and guess what? Even me, and I'm a motherfucking mama, I'm going to tell you, fuck the motherfucking kids. Bitch, raise them by yourself. Who the fuck finna sit up? Humans don't even have it in them to go through that. Too many cycles. This is basic level shit. But this is the shit y'all do and expect a different result. You do the same shit your mama them did, your auntie them did. It's fuck them kids. And I got kids that I pushed out. No epidural. All natural. Love them to death. But if a bitch sat and dangled them in my face like a motherfucking carrot, bro, what you trying to do? Break my mind? Bitch, what you trying to do? Tell me down to where I can't even think straight? What the fuck you trying to do? Run my life with this control shit? Fuck them kids. You and them kids. This is what we're doing in our culture. And then you got mamas and grandmas that's a girl. I wouldn't let kids go over there. Yo, babe, he ain't giving you no money for this. I wouldn't let them kids go over there. Girl, he and children are for sale. Children are for sale. Children are not one entity tied with your emotions. Children are not that. And it's the same for y'all niggas. Like just because the girl ain't saying certain shit to you or she don't want to give you no more pussy, them kids don't got nothing to do with her giving up that cat. So when you keep on saying, bro, I ain't even coming, I ain't picking him up. You don't want to talk to a nigga, I ain't picking him. After a while, a bitch is going to tell you, bro, fuck you. I'll find him a new daddy at this point. Bitch, I get my daddy the father or motherfucker. I go out and put him in the Big Brothers fucking club. I go put him in some and get some. Ain't nobody finna keep running behind your ass to show up for these children and you every 5 minutes threatening how you ain't finna be there. Humans don't even have that space to tolerate that. But y'all motherfuckers think that makes sense. Y'all think that everybody dumb like y'all homegirls and that we believe that you ain't never told that man or that woman that you wasn't finna buy them diapers or you wasn't finna bring them kids over there or his mama and them couldn't get them or you ain't finna let him see him or he can't come to the birthday party if he bring that bitch or he can't. Y'all think kids be a fucking play toy. That's what y'all think. Then y'all turn around and say that people playing with y'all kids. But the biggest toyer of your children is you. Because by my kids, guess what I do? Mind my mouth, manage my emotions, take the back seat, feel embarrassed at times, walk off from shit, let things go, front the bill more than the nigga did. By my children having both parents, I lay down my motherfucking life. By my girls having influence from their father and from their mother, bitch, I change everything by myself. This is the shit. I ain't no about my kids, I'll go to jail. Or about my kids, I'll fuck one of y'all. I ain't got to do all that, right? About my kids, I'll change my ways. About my children, I will mind my mouth. About my kids, if I see that certain stuff I'm saying rubs my baby daddy the wrong way to where it makes him show up incorrectly for them, guess what? I fix that. About my kids. I ain't playing with them. It's times I don't play with myself, but I don't play with them. right? They need more than just me. I don't know everything, and I'm Love Dorsey, so I know you bitches don't know everything, and you niggas the same. It's the same for y'all. It's a lot of y'all niggas that you play games where you pop in and out them kids' life based on how you feel about a bitch. That's toying with them the same. After a while, even the child gonna develop a space of, I ain't worried about if he come or not. Not because the child don't care about you or not because the baby mama don't want you around. People don't psychologically have the space to tolerate that unless they just gonna operate in toxicity 24/7.
It takes 5
And so effective co-parenting, balancing emotions, managing your emotions, how it impacts everybody in the family structure. And I want to know y'all take on that. It's a rough take. It's an absolutely rough take. And that's what I love the most about Love Dorsey is that she don't hold no punches. She gonna get right into it. She gonna be just as raw as she can possibly be. And she gonna get in there and explain exactly what it is that's going on in our community specifically. It is a lot of not being able to balance our individual emotions while in relationships and not being aware of how that has an impact specifically on our kids. And so I want to know what weigh in on that. What y'all think about what she was saying? Y'all are on mute, by the way.
Okay. Hey. Okay. I think I will go. I'll go in first then. Actually, she was speaking facts. And for the most part, I say it a lot. Even in the salon, I say it a lot. Women, we can control a lot of things. And even if they don't show up financially, emotionally, because if you have it financially and you know your child needs the father emotionally, you should be able to take the finances out of it for the betterment of your children. And I think for a lot of times that women, they don't do it because they have not, they're playing a kid against a parent, opposed to making sure, because I did it myself. But after a while, I kind of looked like, which one is important? The relationship between him and I, that's already gone. And I know I want a better relationship with the kids that I had with their father. So not to dangle this carrot and say, hey, I can do what I want to do. If you don't move and you don't operate the way that I want you, I'll let you not see your kids. Like my oldest son wasn't my ex-husband's. So when it came to the weekend, I wasn't playing games with, like, he had to stay home because he had chores and he didn't do the chores. He has a relationship, and it's my job to make sure that he has a healthy relationship with his father. So every weekend mattered, no matter what. Friday to Monday morning, he was there around his grandparents, around his aunts, around his uncles, regardless to how I felt about the father. That was my choice. And because I made that choice, I don't need to make the person that I'm in a relationship with now take care of a child that I work hard to make him take care of a child when I could put forth an effort to make sure that I put in everything that I have to make sure that my son has a healthy relationship with his father. And to this day, they have a wonderful relationship. When he graduated from high school, to sit there at his open house and hear his father say, that's my best friend. I knew that was because I took myself out of what I felt like him and I should be, opposed to what it should be with him and his father. My grandchildren come every summer to visit us for a month. Him and I are still connected. We share those responsibilities.
Right.
And when you have a healthy relationship and you take you out of it and you make sure either way it go, we're connected regardless. So when my grandchildren come in, we now have to meet up and say, hey, how you doing? We have grandchildren. We have a son, we have a daughter-in-law. Even though we are not together, we still a family. And when you learn that, the outcome later in life, yeah, you're going to tussle. You're going to fight. You can throw in a towel and you can give it up. And you can have somebody else step in and say that person would do it. But I'm jealous when it comes to my own children. I don't want nobody else doing for my kids. So I want that healthy relationship with him and I. And even to this day, he would text me, he'll call me, say, I thank you, I appreciate you, did a wonderful job. When it comes to the grandchildren, hey, the grandkids, they know I'm a little bit harder, he's much softer. But they get that balance. But they got what my son got. And they got that because I stayed into the fight. I stayed there. It wasn't about him. The relationship between him and I needed to be no more. But the relationship between him and his son needs to be a lifetime.
I think that's part of the struggle a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's the struggle a lot of times with not being able to distinguish or differentiate between who a man is to you as either a failed boyfriend, a failed baby daddy, a failed whatever he was to you, and understanding that child still needs that parent, right? So I think that in the community, though, there is like this, and I've heard it a lot, right? Not necessarily directly to me, but I've heard it discussed, and I know y'all have on this panel too, where there are women in the community that will tell a mother, like she said, like, yeah, he don't need to go over there because he got that girl over there, but he get into another relationship, and because you don't like the woman that he with, then the baby can't go over there. Or it's the mom co-signing, well, if he don't give you no money, then the kids don't need to be with him because what he gonna do for him, right? Like this kind of this narrative that kids only need mamas, right? And I think it is very rampant where we are using kids as weapons for sure. And lots of things as weapons. I mean, she said a couple other things too of talking about like sex in a relationship, right? Like the whole, well, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna take it. If you don't do this, then it is absolutely true that after a while, somebody gonna stop asking for it, then you know you got a problem. Right? Like as long as it's an interest, right? Then you can kind of like gauge the health of your relationship. But then folks stop asking, whether it is for sex or for time or any of that. When they stop asking, it's a problem. But it's definitely weaponizing aspects of the relationship, which is at the end of the day is manipulation. It's to get something that you want from somebody else.
Yeah.
Does somebody else want to weigh in on this?
I actually wanted to say, I think it's interesting that the idea of weaponizing the children once they're here, right? I think a lot of times what happens is people weaponize having children in the first place, and that's how they end up in these situations with their partners or their co-parents. It's like people have children, and see, I'm not a mother, right? But I've watched my homegirls go through this, and I realized they had kids for the wrong reasons in the first place. They were using that child to try to keep the man around. And I think that just carries, that's the beginning of the emotional immaturity, and it kind of just grows from there. So now the kid is here, and now you're like it's just this ongoing battle, because in the first place, you had this child to try to manipulate somebody into being with you or loving you. I wonder how many people actually could be honest about that with themselves.
Well, were you finished? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to panel game.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt. Well, as for me, I'm gonna say my daughter, she didn't. Well, me and her father didn't have a decent relationship, but I still never said anything negative about, him around her, even though he really wasn't like in her life, but he was in her life because he was in one state and I was in one state. But he still didn't do anything for her. So I really took care of her, but I still would never say anything negative about him because I still wanted her to have a relationship with him whenever she got to that age when she, chose to, it was her choice. And but that's one thing now she will remind me that, Ma, I never heard you said anything negative about him. And now he just dead beat. But she could see it herself once she got older. But the other situation with the stepkids, that was a different situation. When me and my husband got married, he brought, it was he brought two kids into the marriage, but his ex-wife was not happy about him moving on. So it was like pitting the kids against him. She was, it was so bad. It was so bad. But we still try to maintain a relationship for the kids' sake. He had the son, she had the daughter, and then the daughter would go on the weekends, come on the weekends with us, and the son would, go on the weekend with her. And so when the son would leave our house and go to her, we had to like, oh my gosh, try to get him back together when he came back, get his mind back right, because it was, garbage in, and then when the daughter would come over, it just was a mess. But we still tried to maintain like solid ground. We still tried to put things aside behind the scenes so the kids would not see. But of course, they still knew what was going on in a sense, because things that the mom would say about, my husband and things she would do, it just was really bad. But we still had to put, the kids first and try to make the relationship work for the kids, even though it was hard going through this. And I wanted to quit many times, but I couldn't, my husband, I just could leave him, I wanted to quit for the wrong reason. I still had to be there as that wife for him because that's the relationship and that's the husband that I chose. And so we made it work, even though it was tough. But it did, it caused some frictions. It hurt the kids, but we could not control what she did, but we could control what we did here in our home. But we would never, like say anything negative about her, around the kids, because we didn't want to, keep, confusion going on in the house. But it's tough, but we definitely try to put, make the relationship work because that still was their mom. And, they always tell the kids, I would never try to take the place of their mom. I'm here as that bonus mom. And, and I was going to still be, that mom to them when, as we were in this house and treat them just like, I treat my own daughter. And it just was, it was tough. But we still had to put our differences aside, even though we had to go to court and all the rest of that stuff to make this relationship work the best that we could. And yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but we had to take self out of it. Me and my husband, but of course the ex-wife didn't. So it was tough.
And that's such a good point that you're bringing up too. Like, so one thing that I heard you say was that I heard a couple of you all kind of allude to, like, not talking bad about the other parent. And something that I was reflecting on earlier when I was listening to a few different videos is that our kids know us, right? So consider this. I'm raising my children, and I know that because we spend a lot of time together, they kind of take on my viewpoint about things, right? And all of us have been children before. And so we also knew that our mother or dad or whoever raised you, they didn't have to tell us how they felt about certain things. Like, you could feel the energy shift across the entire house when mom was pissed, right? Like I could feel it before she came through the door that something wasn't right, right? Like as children, especially if you grew up in a family structure that has some pathologies, right? Like for a lot of people who grow up in families that have some pathologies, meaning they got some issues, right? As a matter of personal safety, you had to be keenly aware of the emotions of everybody in the house so that you knew what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do, right? Like and I'm sure a lot of folks can relate to that, that you had to kind of grow up being able to sense the environment to know whether or not it was safe, right? And we bring a lot of that also into our adulthood, whether it's from that childlike perspective of kind of walking on eggshells or being around people, naturally, where because of our childhood, we have found ourselves in relationships, we feel like we got to walk on eggshells, or even you become the person that folks got to walk on eggshells around, right? So now flip that to a child, like the children that we're considering, when we even say like, oh, well, I never said anything bad about my child's father or the stepmom or whatever, like whomever is in the picture. And I wonder to what extent is the nonverbal just as powerful, right? Because the anger that I hear and see from a lot of folks, especially like in the sector that we all came together around, like the sector we in on YouTube, it's a lot of bitterness, it's a lot of hurt, it's a lot of rage, right? It's a lot of trauma. And I just don't believe that for a lot of women that they're concealing it as well as they think they are. Right? Like I if folks can feel a certain kind of energy from you just in passing, chances are your kids know. So you don't have to say anything directly about their dad. They know that if they even talk about having fun over at their dad's house, if they seem too eager to want to go over there, if they even mention that maybe they like the girlfriend or the new wife, or like kids learn really quickly, like what to say, what not to say. They can sense that there's an issue. They may not be able to put their finger on it, but kids know when there's a problem. And so it isn't always like the verbal of what's said. And I'm not saying that y'all do this, but it just made me think about that, right? Like I know that I'm guilty for sure of, I know for a fact that I wear my feelings on my face. And I know for a fact that my kids know my energy because I'm their mother, right? And so I think that translates. What y'all think about that?
I agree. Definitely. Yeah, definitely agree because, even though our kids are older right now, they still, I think they still feel a lot of what happened. Even I can think about my stepson, how he acted out a lot, got in a lot of trouble. And, even my stepdaughter, same thing with her, just lashing out, got in just angry all the time. And you're right. Yeah, it did affect them. Even my daughter, even when she got turned 18, she was like, I'm going, leaving, going to my dad, so she left and went down south, and I was like, fine, it was like bumping head left and right with her. And now she done got older, she see things a little differently. But the other two step kids, they still, I think it still affects them. I really do feel it still affects them because the relationship is not as close with the dad, and the daughter's really not as close with her mom. So yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Tiffany, by the way.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Tiffany.
didn't say it before, but I have a 27-year-old and a 16-year-old. So I met my husband that passed away back in 1996. Had a son in 97, and we tried to work it out, have a good relationship, him and I. Great parent, always in his son's life. Like I said, he's 27 now. But we never could just get it together. So up until about 2007, great co-parenting. I could call him, needed anything. If I needed anything, I got it. He would call me, I'm coming to get him, haven't ready this time, that time. Great relationship. Some reason we just couldn't get it together. So I met someone else in 2007, had a son in 2008. He's 16 now. His father was in his life up until he was about 12 months. And I haven't spoken to him probably in about 15 years. He
Wow.
he he pays child support faithfully. Every month I get child support, but he will not call. He will not check to see if he's standing upright. Nothing. So I just don't. It is, and I don't know. Well, I do know how he feels. He's 16 and he has the insight of a like 30-year-old. It's like he's been here before, and he
Mhm.
has the attitude of I want to see him. I don't necessarily want to say where you been, but I just want to be in his presence. Like he just want
Mm.
to know him. But
Mm.
he will not pick up the phone. He won't answer messages. It's like I don't know. I
Wow.
don't
So
know
he
the
just went, he just ghosted. He was just gone.
he just ghosted. Well,
Wow.
no, I take that back. He probably saw him maybe 10 years ago. His grandmother was having like a 90-something birthday, and his aunt called and wanted my son to come. He didn't even call, wanted my son to come. So he probably saw him, I take that back, probably about 10 years ago.
Mm.
But he's 16 years old, 6 feet tall. I'm looking up at him, and it's like he's just missing out. I'm like, oh my gosh, and it hurts so bad.
You know what I wonder, Tiffany, like how does that, as a woman experiencing that, and that's a story for a lot of women too, right?
Hmm.
How how do you process that without becoming, that woman scorned, F them all, like that, how do you stay in such a positive space, or what type of work have you had to do on your personal emotions, to be able to navigate that in a way that it hasn't consumed you or filled you with like a bitterness? Like, what is it, anything that you can give as far as like what you've been able to do to overcome that experience? Because you still got to look at your son every day
Right.
and not be able to answer some of those really key questions that he has, and you can't absorb the pain of that, and you don't, we even have to look forward to how that might impact him. So
Mm.
how are you, over the past 15 years, like what are you doing to address that for you personally so that you can show up for your son?
It's definitely a mental thing. You have to um, know what your purpose is and do the best you can do. So um, so that's all that I can do. I can do is um, know my purpose and just remind him every day that he's supposed to be here. It's nothing that he's
Yeah.
done,
Yeah.
to deserve this. So
So
it's
it's
just
just,
one day
it's
at a
taking it
time.
in stride. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm
taking it
hearing you say
inside.
that, you just taking it in stride, like this is what it is. It's like the saying, what is it, the serenity prayer? Like, what is it? Lord, uh
God grant me the serenity.
help me. Yes, yeah,
God
to
grant me
change
the
the things.
serenity to accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the
The
difference.
wisdom to know the difference.
Yes,
That's the word there. The wisdom to know the difference.
yes,
That's a word. That is a
yes.
word, because a lot of folks be sitting around acting like they don't have the authority to do nothing about their life. and that is just something that they need to just accept as cannot be changed, when in reality it's plenty that we can impact, and there are some
Right.
things like what you're talking about that we cannot. But it is the wisdom to be able to distinguish between the two. Like, is this something that I have the authority and ability to impact and to change? Whether it's like what Love Dorsey said in the video of like, I'll change everything about me if it means that my kids can have a healthy relationship with their
Right.
father,
Right.
because I don't play about them. Right. Like, there are some things, if you could put your finger on it, you can try that. Right. But I think that there are oftentimes, as some of us would rather just throw our hands up at all the challenges and say, I can't impact that. Right. But it is the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Like, is this something that I can do? And if not, how do I then move forward? Like what you're saying, like, this is something that I cannot change. And
Right.
I have to accept that and move on with a healthy, fulfilling life for myself and my child, right? Where I'm conscious of the situation, but then too, like we're moving forward. That's big.
Yeah. Yes, I learned that prayer a long time ago, and it has stuck with me for years now. I often say it. Just when I'm going through, just say it to yourself. Just take a breath and
Mhm.
say that prayer, and you just, it's an overwhelming feeling. That
Mhm.
once you know the difference, it's huge.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Tiffany, my daughter is going through a similar situation. Her son is 15, but his father, is not in his life, but he don't even pay child support.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so she do it on her own, but
Mhm.
with the help of us, when we can help her. My daughter is just one of this type of daughters that just like, okay, mom, I'm gonna do this, and I take care of my son, and she don't like to ask for things because she don't like to ask people for help. But I was like, look, when you need help, you got us. But she don't force him to have a relationship with him because she know
Mhm.
it would get him off track, because the his dad is just out there, in the street, drunk, and don't have a life, don't keep a job, don't work, and so she don't want to um, change his lifestyle by
Mhm.
allowing his dad to come in his lifestyle if his dad don't want to be there.
Right.
So she'd rather keep it like it is, to keep his lifestyle the way it is, so that he don't, experience the seeing his dad on the street homeless. When she ride by, she'll see him on the street just as a homeless person.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
his son will ride by, she and the son will be in the truck, and he don't even know that's his dad. And
Mm.
it just and she was like, she just rather keep him, focused. And when he get old enough, if he want to see his dad, you know
Right.
he'll let him go see his dad. But right now, she was like, she asked him, you want to see your dad? He like, no, he don't want to go visit him, because we really don't even know him now, because they can pass
Mhm.
by the street and don't even know him.
Right.
But in order to keep him focused, she just say she just want to just keep it just like it is. She'll take care of him, on her own. She'll work 5 jobs if she have to, just to
Mhm.
make sure, that her son have a good life. And I know and he don't ask about him anymore like he used to when he was smaller, because his dad, when he did used to go over there, the dad just didn't have time for him anyway, or he wouldn't be there. Then, he would be with the grandmoms most time. But then they stopped even dealing, don't didn't want to, pick him up, or have any relationship either. So she just left it. And she was like, if he when he get older, 18, if he decide he want to, search out for his dad, or want to have a relationship with his dad, then he can have a relationship with his dad. But his dad don't pay child support, don't do nothing for him. So right
Mhm.
now she just, she'll do it on her own. He's 15, and she be doing a great job, and we help her through her situations and with him. But she rarely asks, because she don't like to ask people
Mhm.
for anything. But I'll make sure that he have. the things he need, like school clothes, and if things that he need, help her to take some pressure off of her, because I know it's hard, because I was a single mom. You just look at things and you say this generational, like I say, a generational curse is like the same type of pattern. And
Yeah.
God, and of course we have faith and we trust God, and Jesus as our Lord and personal Savior, and we know God gonna make a way. He never left, He will never leave us nor forsake us.
That's
And
right.
yeah, we just trust God through the process, and we know it's gonna be okay. And whenever He's ready to, meet His dad again, and pray, that He's still living, she will allow him. But right now she want to make sure that he can focus in school, because he had a hard time in school for so long, and right now he's finally getting like, okay, I like school. Because ever since he was a kid, he just didn't like school. He was like rebellious, but now he's at a point where he liking school. He coming out more, just more lively. And she just want to keep it like that right now. And he's not asking about him, so she just like, whatever, when he get 18, if he decided to, he can do that, go
Mm.
with his dad. So just don't, just pray, just trust God, and when the time is right, God will allow it to happen at the right time. And
Yeah,
it's just
you're right. And
Tanya,
I,
one quick second, y'all. I want to bring up something that Tanya's saying in the chat that I missed, which is really kind of major. And I wonder if she's ever mentioned this before in any of the other lives, but she's saying that her child's father actually ended up marrying the other woman, and
oh, wow.
how she had to really get through her feelings about that, so that she can feel comfortable sending her son over to the dad's house with the woman, right? And
What he cheated with.
I'm just reading this like, whoa, that's a
Mm.
lot. That's a whole lot. And as much as as I try to think that I'm healed, I think that that will require a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
of something to be able to work through that. But I mean, I think Tanya's still in here. She's a mod, but she said her mother really coached her through that. And I think that that's definitely a spin on the situation too, of like, when the other person moves on, and this is that emotional
Mm-hmm.
maturity part, like you got to pull something out of you, to because it's so much easier to be like, hell no, that's a toxic situation, I ain't sending my kid over there because of your feelings about it. But I'm seeing her in the chat saying that she had to fix it, or she could not send her son with them, and she had to trust that he would not be mistreated. I think that that's
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. That is a huge thing. And
yes,
Tanya,
it
if you
is.
want to say more about that, I mean, Coy, you haven't said anything in a minute either, but I'm just that as I'm reading that, I'm like, wow, I can't even envision what that has to feel like. But I'm curious to know what, like, other women want to hear that. Like that might be their situation too. Of like, look, he moved on. I don't like the girl. I don't trust her. Like, how do I then get over myself enough to where I can still allow my child to have a relationship with their dad, or vice versa, right? I think that that's a heavy situation to be in.
I guess I think you have to know the person. He wasn't good for you, but as a dad, do you think
Yeah.
that he would, pick someone that would be abusive or mistreat your child? It's all about knowing who you were with. He wasn't good for you, but
Big.
he might be a good dad.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, where, for women who have this experience, where does the mistrust of the other woman come from?
Right.
Mm.
Like, because,
I wonder
like
if
you were
it's
just
just,
saying,
yeah. Go ahead.
Tiffany,
'Cause
right? Like,
yes.
yeah, you have to trust the person who, y'all might be on. And I heard something today where a lady was calling in and talking about her husband, and of course he did something terrible where she lost trust and she felt like she didn't know him after 20 years. And the counselor she was speaking with reminded her, like, well, just because this one thing happened and you all had this breakdown of the relationship doesn't take away from everything else that happened that was good and enjoyable in the relationship. So if at one point you decided you was going to have children with this person, or you guys were together at one point and it was a loving situation, or he did show up and he did prove to be reliable in other situations, or compassionate, or whatever you need to trust these people with your children, like, that still is real. It's just the relationship between you two that's changed, right? So I agree. It makes most sense to let go and really trust the person that you were with and the person that you know him to be. Now, if he's irresponsible
Right.
just on his own, yeah, like that's the reason why the kid can't go over there. It don't. I mean, I would of course want to know the other woman, but it ain't. It's not that you don't trust her, right?
You trust him.
Right. You probably don't
Mm-hmm.
trust him or the in the company that he keeps.
I think that's a really good point,
Mm-hmm.
because if you have questions about his ability to be present, to be thoughtful, to be responsible, the woman is just an extension of that concern, right? Like that's what it seems
Yeah.
to be. Like that she would just be an extension of you. But some people are legit mad at the lady.
No, they aren't, but that's
Yeah.
I
why
would feel
that's
away.
them lacking emotional maturity, I think, in this
Yeah.
situation, because it's over. It's over.
Yeah, I think it,
Why would you feel away?
Yeah, I mean,
Unpopular?
I get that those emotions, they're easier to talk about being over than they are to feel it. But the reality is, if you want to move on, don't start picking or finding things to pile on to the resentment. Like
um,
that whole hating the other woman thing is much more common than a woman keeping her children from their father because he is irresponsible. You know what I mean? I really think we
Unpopular?
got to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah,
Unpopular.
I'm saying
Why would you
because
feel away?
I think that deep down I'm probably petty and not healed. I don't know. I think I think that
Well, yeah,
it would depend.
At
Yeah, I
least you
think
can
that it would
admit it.
depend.
right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit it. That's the only thing that it could be, is that on some level I will probably be resentful that it went down the way. But see, I guess it depends on how it went down. Like Tanya is saying, and thank you for your super chat, number one Buttercup. What Tanya is saying is
So he
that
cheated.
it was yes,
If he
right,
cheated, yeah.
right. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, and she's saying that she's 16 years down the road, and so they're over it, and they've been able to build a relationship, which is the best case scenario, and that is what's best for the children, because they need to have that 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 family structure on both sides. We just got to get over it, right? I'm just being honest that I will probably have a difficult time doing that. Um, and I could imagine if I were like 25 or 26, 27 going through something like that, it will my actions would probably be a lot different than if I were, later 30s, 40 going through it, right? Like
mhm.
that's why. I'm just being honest. Like,
I think too that a lot of times that mom thinks that stepmom is going to take their place, and the child is going to love them more. And I think that's something that they deal with too. When that other woman come in that person's life, they think now that child is going to latch on more to
Mm-hmm.
the other to the new wife, to the step parent. And so that has a lot to do. So it's fear. Most times fear makes people do things like that. When you uh, angry, upset, a lot of times, most time it's fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear
And
is
that's
behind.
something a lot of women won't say.
Yes,
They
it's
won't say it's fear. It'll call it something else.
yeah. So
They'll
they
put it
lash
on
out
him.
because they're scared. And they're scared that that child is going to have a close relationship with the other person,
Hmm.
and the stepmom, and now this person might love them more than they love them, because now it's like a competition, but it's not. But it normally is fear.
but like
I
Coach
think I
Dion is saying
enjoy.
that it's grieving. Like it is
Oh,
a process of
you can
grieving
go.
too, I think. Just throwing that
Yes.
out there. Go ahead, Coy.
I was thinking of what Love Dorsey was saying when she was talking about about her kids and the way she what she would do and what she would be willing to change about her children. And I think that's where she was getting at, as far as, you know, you have these feelings, you have these thoughts, you have these fears, but for the sake of your children, you also have to do what's best for you and what's healthiest for you, right? So like having that fear, once you acknowledge it, yes, it's real, but you can't stay in that space. And it's kind of an irrational fear, right? Like to believe that um your child would end up forming a better relationship with their step parent. Like I can see that being a fear, but if we really sit and get real with ourselves, that shouldn't be something that you should really worry about. And instead, you can take a more positive perspective. I know that's tough, but there it's just like the child now has more people that will love them. You know, I think changing your mindset for your children and being real about those fears and the resentment and the jealousy and all of that is also doing what's best for them.
Yeah. You're right. And because then that parent, what happened, I just think about my situation in a sense, is fear. And then what happens is that the mom now is going to try to be like, oh, I'm the good mom. When you come over
Mm.
my house, you have all the fun. When you go over their house, they're the strict house. And so now it's like, I'm going to make sure when you come to me, I'm going to make your life so great. I'm going to take you and get you everything you want.
Mhm.
I'm going to buy you everything you want, because now it's one of those things like, you're not taking my place. And yeah, so it's a lot of things with that, in which it wasn't, like that before, but when I came in the picture now, it's like, well, I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to take the child on my own, but but it's like we got to do this together. But yeah, it's like, I think it was more fear. It was, and then he moved on. um,
Mhm.
and so the kids, really suffer in it. And, so she tried to make her house like the most happiest house and the fun house.
Mm.
So he will always want to go back to mom's house, so yeah, there's so many things.
Now, living for me 75, she just added a different perspective on this because she's talking about it being directed towards her. So she moved on. Not saying it was infidelity, because I don't think that was the situation living for me 75. I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna say all of that. You didn't say all that. Um, but then having the ex husband or significant other throwing rocks at her new marriage and trying to taint the child's perspective of the stepfather. I think that that's a completely different kind of flip on this thing of like what it requires for a woman to be able to take that kind of like outside threat where you're trying to build a more healthier environment. You've moved on, you're remarried, raising your child with your new husband, and then you got the father of the child acting a fool, cutting a fool, trying to cause uh issues within the relationship. That's crazy too.
Okay, just call me.
That's something else that I don't think I would be able to be healed from. I would be petty. I guess I probably shouldn't be advising folks. I still got to grow. What you saying, Jill?
No, actually, a girlfriend was bringing me some lamb chops, and I told her to call me when she get here. But
Oh.
no, actually, I do have something to say about that. What I think, because it seems like we are here from healthy co-parenting to blended families, so we merging two things together.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's difficult within itself, and a lot of times for me, it was, and now I'm at a mature stage of my life right now. So I can look back over my youth in my 20s, because I had my first son when I was 19. I had my last one. I have three sons, and that was with his father, and then my ex-husband had two. Um, a lot of it to me, and this is just my perspective at where I'm at in my life as of today. A lot of it was emotional based on you didn't treat me right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't treat me right, you don't get a chance to have
certain things the way that you think you should, and we would hold. But like I said earlier, it's sometimes we have to take that extra step because we knew exactly what it took for him to turn our way, to make sure he called us on the phone. Good morning, beautiful. You know, hey, can I take you out this weekend? We knew exactly what we were doing to get him to do that. As women, we got to find now which angle can I go? Because this is an ongoing thing. We're in a relationship with this man for a lifetime. And like you said, it has its highs and its lows. I remember at one point my oldest son, father, but he was always around his grandparents. And I remember my mom said, when you have a man by a baby by a man, you don't have him by him for him. You have him for the family.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning everybody take care of this. So when he stepped out of the picture, grandma pick up, aunties pick up, uncles pick up, cousins pick up. But that's our part as women. And because a lot of times we don't do our due diligence by going into these families and meeting them and saying, hello, I need to meet your mama. And if I can't come to the barbecue and sit next to your auntie Lynn with the Colt 45 that tell all y'all secrets up in here, I don't need to have no babies by nobody up in here.
Word.
And a lot of this, and we're playing on a role based on what we're going through because we didn't do our part. Because even though they fall short, we fall short as well. Did she go get her lamb chops?
I think she went to the door to get her lamb chops. Jill, we can't hear you. I think she went to the door to get her lamb chops. Jill, we can't hear you.
Okay, here.
And she's still talking.
I'm back. I had to go get the lamb chops. So sorry. So a lot of times, and that was me in my 20s. And I knew that, and sometimes we're going to have to ride that wave, even though we don't want to. My parents got divorced when I was young. I think my father, I was able to articulate this to my father. I knew he had kids. He actually had 4 kids while my mother was married to him. But at the same time, when I go there, my mother still never spoke anything negative. But at the same time, I still had grace for him too. He had, when he would come in, we'll go over there on the weekends. When he got ready to take us home, and this is where I am with women when they're going to blended families. A lot of times, we as women, we want to run something that we cannot run. We want order
Exactly.
and out of order.
That's a word.
We want to say that I'm the wife, but you're out of order as a wife. He didn't marry you first. He didn't have children with you. He had children with someone else or a relationship with someone else. And we call ourselves blending something. And it doesn't work that way because we're on the outside of that home. Them children have 2 homes that they have to sway between. They're being pulled. And what they don't get, and what I like about my father when I was younger, and I spoke to him, I was probably about 11 or 12. I said, I don't like coming over here. He said, did Mary do anything to you? No, she's nice. But they get to have you 30 days of the month. Me and my brother only get you 4 days of the month. He asked, he said, hey, what do you want me to do? Well, when we come over, we don't want to see them. We're going to see them. We're going to be involved with them. But we wanted our special time with our father. Meaning when he took us home, and I know this for a fact with a lot of women, the threat is the ex-wife. Now that you're the current wife. But they have a relationship forever. They have children. And what my father did was that ride home, because I know what men talk about. They're talking about their past with their children, but my father made it even. He spoke nice, kind words about my mother. I know that's not what a woman want to hear. The new woman. You don't want to hear that. So we tend to be in the middle of something that we should separate ourselves from. When it comes to children, And I thank God for my father when he dropped us off, and he only had one incident where he had to bring her. And because he still remained and had a level of respect for my mother, he said, I'm going to drop y'all off on the corner. I'm going to drop y'all off on the corner. That was the best thing that he could have done, because she didn't deserve a ride to the house to drop off her children with her ex-husband. And it's a level of respect. And sometimes as women, we got to be able to step aside and say, you know what, for the betterment of the children, I'm going to remove myself. I'm not going to be in the front of this, because either way it go, this man has a family. He has children prior to me. How can I trust him enough to let him go? To drop his children off? How can I trust him to let him go to the show? When you pick up your kids this weekend, guess what? You don't take the ones that we have. And I understand, because I've been, like I said, I've been in a salon setting for years. And I've heard, well, no, we're a family. No, you're not. You're a blended family. You're not a family. You're not husband first, wife, then children. You are ex-wife, kids, new husband. Now y'all blending.
Yeah.
You can't have it your way. You can't have it your way. We want it our way, but then our children suffer. Sometimes we go in situations where we're going in openly knowing that this is not it. And because we know that, our children are being sacrificed.
Right.
And a lot of times women want to blame men. We're going to get to a healing place when we can say, well, I did this. I went in there and I openly knew I did this. This is because of me. My children don't have what they have because I went in this. I chose this person for my selfishness, for what I wanted for that moment. That man showed a lot of times. Men show us a lot. Normally men don't lie. Men really show up as who they are.
They tell you what how they feel.
Okay,
right.
they show up as who they are. And we make excuses for them. And a lot of times our children have to fall short on that. But even though, back to the part where I was saying about my oldest son, even though me and his father went through our little trials and our little tribulations, it was still there that I trust his mother enough. I trust his sisters enough. I trust the nieces enough. I'm going to drop this baby off. I'm going to make sure this baby is in this family, because he just don't have me. He has another side of his family that should know him. So what the daddy acting up today? So what the daddy can't deal with the fact that I decided that I don't want to be with him. So what? Well, we're going to have to deal with that emotions. We can't say that person wakes up, but as long as they wake up, and eventually it takes time where they can shift. And a lot of times if we go in there as women and we move this needle and we turn this, the old saying say, you don't have a crash on a motorcycle. So if your rider go left, you better turn left. Sometimes these men are going left. Yeah, they get in a relationship. Yeah, I know I'm overly jealous when it comes to my children. I don't want to meet nobody. But I most definitely will let my children go, because I know the man that I had my kids by ain't gonna let ain't gonna let nothing happen to his child. Right. I trust him that much. I trust him that much to make sure ain't nothing gonna happen to him. My son 34 years old.
Yeah,
and I met his wife on graduation day, and they got married when my son was 9. Now I know that was a lot of dysfunction, and that wasn't him. That was me. That's me still wanting to be able to control his house and mine, even though I'm with somebody else. And that's what I say about women. When we don't get our way, we have these tantrums. We pass out. We fall out. We throw everything on. Hold on. You can't. Hold on. Wait a minute. We can't control what we don't have no more. We ain't in that relationship.
Right.
You're not there. He don't like you like that no more. You don't like him like that no more.
That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Come on now.
It's just not that.
It's very hard.
That's right. Knowing your person, knowing who you had a child with.
But we change.
You're going to make the best decision for your child.
At the same time, we're changing often.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're in a healthy space of evolving in life, because we have a lot of young girls right now. I'm 50, I'll be 54 October the 23rd. And I have nieces who have children. And let me tell you what I'm not going to tell them. No, you pick up that phone. Did you call him? No, he ain't called the kids. And what, did you call him? Okay, he ain't called. Do you have the phone number? Did you call him? Because sometimes we can lead things because we done already been on the height. And I already know women. We on that height. It ain't working right with us. You don't want me no more. You over here taking care of somebody else. But we can change that direction because we knew what we had to do. We had to soften ourselves for him to ask for us for a date, didn't we? We wasn't aggressive when he was saying, I want to take you out to the movies. You know, I like to, you know, you want to hold your hand. You knew exactly what you know how to pull that man card.
Ooh.
You know how to pull him. You going up in here for your child. Guess what? I'm gonna have to look. I ain't got to get in the bed with you, but guess what? I'm talking nice to you today. How you doing? You all right? Okay, good. Everything going good. How your boo doing? And it hurt you to ask him how his boo doing, but you're gonna have to fake. You're gonna have to show face right now. Because what you want is your child to have a relationship with his father, because that was your choice.
That's true.
That was your choice. That wasn't your child's choice. You ain't got no business doing this by yourself unless this man is a pedophile. This man out here on Skid Row, and a lot of times there are not. We ain't gonna speak that negativity about our black men, because a lot of times they're not. But all they want sometimes is say, you know, I don't want you coming over here having me on some aggressive stuff at this point. We, for most part, men just want to talk about their children. Guess what we want to talk about? The past relationship that did not work.
Yep.
Before we talk about the kids, I need to tell you what you did.
All issues. Yeah,
what do you do?
And we are. Huh?
What do you do when it's not reciprocated? Like in my situation, I mean, I don't have his phone number, but if I wanted to reach out to him, I could. I mean, we live in the same city, but it's just the fact that he just don't. It's just I don't get it. I how can you start out being one way and end up another way?
How old is your son?
He's 16.
Okay, you don't need his number anyway. Your
Right.
son needs his number.
Well, yeah, but you're right.
You figure out how the son, because after a certain age, you don't have to conversate. Because a lot of times they don't want a relationship with you, they want a relationship with the son. And a lot of times as women, we hold that. I want to talk to you. I want to let you know this. Well, he ain't got no money for no clicks today, baby. He ain't got no money for clicks. The money is gone. The money is gone. It's all out the door.
I'm in mother mode. I wanna fix it, but I guess it's not for me to fix.
Well, let me say this. I think our relationships as mothers, and I had to learn this when I got remarried. This year, I'll be married 4 years. I was married for 12, divorced for 10, because I said I'm going to be divorced for 10 years. I'm going to date. I'm going to learn a lot about me. Because if I met a man in a year or two, I would have killed. I swear I would have ruined a good man. I know I would have ruined a good man. The man that I have now, it took 10 years.
Wow.
So if I can wait patiently for a man for 10 years, I can go over here and kiss butt with somebody that I liked and I enjoyed to make that baby. Just for a few years, they're going to grow up. You're going to be able to let them go. But when you get time, you will sit there and you will see, hey, this was the sacrifice. This is what I was supposed to do. Because at the end, the child will say, if nothing else, I saw you. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It ain't going to take nothing off your plate. If anything, it's going to build you up where your child see you have been consistent. Reaching out, making sure that, hey, you know what? And then when they get a certain age, you know what? He has your number. But that's you taking them. A lot of times you sit with the grandparents. I know sometimes, like people now, we don't get to know the whole family. We call our mans, our boo, our friend.
Right.
Somebody
You
asked
don't
you,
know
girl,
the
what's his name,
woman.
honey? Where he come from? He's from the east side or the west side of Detroit. Where he from? Oh, his name Ray. No, what's his real name? Because back in the day, your family knew about that man. Or knew, say, what's his last name?
Mm-hmm.
Corey Ray. Corey
Who,
James.
Who
who
is
is
people?
Oh,
people?
wait a minute.
Who is
Who
people?
is people
Who is his
is
people? So now we date. Now we talking about our friend. But don't nobody know who your baby and daddy, but they know his name by friend. That's it. Then we want all the other stuff that goes along with it. But if we get in that family, a lot of times the family will show up. We showed up most definitely in my household when it came to my
Mm-hmm.
brother. He
Mine too.
wasn't shit. He didn't take care of his kids. But as the Joneses, we took care of those children. So Neil, you can drop them kids off. But he ain't got to be here. Buddy out in the street. He doing whatever he want to do. We got these nieces and nephews over here. They're safe. But they get a chance right now. They're 38. I was a young auntie at 7. My oldest nephew was 48.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So that's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? I got
So you-
nieces that's 40,
So my whole little
45 years
intro,
old.
my whole little intro telling Coy that she baby sis, like all that just messed up when you say yo.
You messed that all up. Okay. You messed that all up. But at the same time, we as women, in order for us to move, especially as Black women, for us to move forward, it's hard for us to admit. Because men generally admit, I was wrong, I was foul, I wasn't no good. They'll do that. But we still set up this presence that we top shelf. We ain't never did.
We don't do nothing wrong. Never.
We'll do
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
But
on
then we
now.
also burden ourselves with the responsibility of making everybody else better. I think, like you were saying, Tiffany, maybe it's not your job to fix. Yeah, like that's
Right.
that's his problem. He has to be a shitty. He's gonna see. Can't nobody say nothing bad about me because, and I'm confident about that because of how I treat people. Right? I think for him and anybody else on what he's on, you're a shitty father, and I think karma. I don't seek revenge on nobody because karma, God, the Lord, it's just gonna be taken care of. And women have to stop trying to take responsibility for making everything right and fixing everybody and teaching everybody the lesson. And I'm gonna show you, and you could, because like you said, Miss Jill, we want to have control over households that ain't even ours. So like it's not like, as a single woman without children, I hear mothers say all the time, well, for my child. Y'all could be doing this for you. Like, it's in your best interest and for your mental health to like relinquish this false sense of control you have over people and let go of the idea that you can influence them to doing what you want them to do or what you think is the right thing for them to do.
Right.
I think we're all on our own journey in this lifetime, right? Like, so that grown ass man who don't take care of his children, he gonna pay for that. It's in one way or another.
So
And it don't have to be you.
I have a question. At what point do a grown man be able to acknowledge that he was wrong? Just say, for instance, he wasn't around, but he got himself together. He right. His head is clean, and your child is now 18. Just say hypothetically he's 45, your child is 18. So you telling me from 45, just say the man lived to be 85. The next 40 years, he can build a healthy relationship with his child. Because we raise our children as mothers, because we claim, we say that we're here all the time. We raise our children in stages. We don't raise them as adults. Because once they're adults, they're on their own. So from birth to 5, that's a stage. From 5 to 11 or 12, that's a stage. From 12 to 18, that's another stage. So our child is constantly growing. But just say hypothetically the father got himself together. So I know for a fact, if he came back and the child was 20, so the next 20 to 40 years, so from 20 to 6, he built a healthy relationship. We're taking it on the struggle on raising children at a stage, opposed to adults.
How can we
Right.
get our children to adulting without bringing in our trauma? Because my
I
son
guess
father clearly at 12, he was going through his little stuff, and I knew it was because I dumped him. He didn't dump me. And I knew that was something that he couldn't deal with. But at the same time, from 12, when he came around, I had my son, come on, my daddy lied. We lied about a little time. Oh, he lied. He said he was going, oh, okay. He'll be all right. Don't worry about it. But I knew too, a lot of it was because of me too, because of the way I moved at that time. And that's why I say about us taking things, a lot of things that we want our way, sometimes we got to allow grace. Because we're going to allow grace for somebody else when it comes to if a husband come in or a man come in our lives and he has past relationships, we're going to allow that. We're going to allow grace on that. We're going to say, well, he did this, he did that, but we're not part of that. We only know based on what he said. What I'm saying is what women need to do, what we need to do as women is say, hey, let me own that. I've been 20 already. I've been 30. I've done it. 40, 38 at graduation. From that point on, him and I have been close. We're talking. We're dealing with each other. And that's a healthy relationship. I literally care less about what he did in the past when my son can't remember half of the stuff unless I tell him.
Mm.
Of course, he gonna understand his father was there at games. I'm not gonna say he was just a bomb daddy, but there are some things that I thought based on my opinion on how I felt about him. Me wanting to control. And once I let go, you can't control Anthony J. Coleman, honey. That ain't your man. You over there married to a whole nother man. That's not yours. You can't control this. You outside of that. You wrong, you foul. And I had to live with myself. I'm wrong, I'm foul. And I'm effing up a relationship that my son can have because I know what type of man that I had a child by.
Right.
His mother and father all the way to the end. His mother and I was close. We were best friends. When she passed, I was holding her right hand in the hospital room. And that's because I let go.
Mm.
I'm calling my son, get home. He in Arizona, he in the military. Get home because your grandma just taking her last breath. He didn't make it here, but I was there.
Mm.
And I'm part of this family. I just had a family barbecue. I had my ex-husband, my oldest son, father, family there, and my current husband that I knew since I was 2 years old.
Come on now.
All of them in the background because I got to live healthy. We as women, we got to do this. A lot of it is because of us, because ain't no way you're going to be able to raise a man in this world as a Black woman and not know how to forgive.
Mm.
And not learning
That's
how
right.
to shift things in a different area. I have 3 Black sons. My oldest son is exceptional. Man, he top shelf. My youngest son, he top shelf. He's exceptional. The middle one, he 29. He want to be married. He want 3 kids. He want to adopt 2. I said, well, okay, Justin, go right ahead. Wait on it. Because I know what I did. And I know what I did when I took me out of the situation. This ain't got nothing to do with me no more. This is about the man that I chose for my children. Let me remove myself out of this. What I got to do? If I got to fight for this, I'll fight for this because I'm not going to fight for another man to go by. I'm a package deal. But you let the package go away.
Mm.
We don't let the
You
package go
preaching,
out the
Jill.
door. But we over here talking about a new man that's stepping out. Oh, I'm a package deal. Well, he got to take care of me. He got to take care of my family. Hold on. Wait a minute. You let that one go without a fight? You got to fight all the way to 18.
Mm.
You got to fight all the way to 18. Do what you got to do. Let that child see you fight. And if you get 18 and he say, my mama fought all the way to 18 and you ain't never show up. Okay, let him use that. Let that child have that reason. But going in, I don't like how the family live. I don't like the family. They got roaches. They got rats. You knew that when you laid up with them.
Not the roaches.
Come on now.
You know his
See, that's
mama
what I'm
was a
saying.
drunk over there. You knew they were crackheads. You knew all of that. You knew he was a scammer. You knew all of that.
Yes.
But you had that baby by that man.
Want to control something.
But now it ain't moving the way you want to move. Come on now. And if I was a man and I'm a man in this county and at this time, I'll watch. Hold on.
Mm.
You talking Nancy about that one? You birthed a man by? Be careful. And as women, we need to learn too. Be careful.
Right.
Downplaying one situation.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, when I was dating, let me tell you something. What happened to the relationship? Nothing. We just didn't work. I don't need to tell you about him being no deadbeat. I don't need to tell you he ain't paying no child support. I don't need to tell you nothing because you're going to be over here trying to play me.
Mm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
He's nice. He okay. He all right. He going through a little something. He all right. He good dad. Because I need you to come in here and treat me right.
He's
He all
having
right.
a
He
human
good.
experience.
That's all it is. Because we go ahead and we'll
You are
play on that.
preaching,
And we
Jill.
do that. You know? So we have to get to that place. Let our kids trust us. Trust that we got the fact that, hell, no, I did it. But I'm only speaking from experience. That if we take ourselves out of the situation, how you went after him, how he came after you, how you showed up on the first date, the nice, kind words that you said to him, you're going to have to play the game, sis.
I love that you say that.
Play it.
Yeah,
You played that game
you.
for that first date, didn't you? You played that game for that dinner. You played that game for that concert. You were speaking nice. Sometimes we got to go ahead and bite our tongue. Just bite the tongue. If I got to be nice to him, if I got to say, hey, you know what? You can come pick up the kids. Well, I ain't got no money. Well, come and pick them up anyway. I'll give it to you. Child don't need to know that you gave the daddy nothing. Now you trying to degrade the daddy, opposed to having a healthy relationship and having a child build a relationship with the father. You want to throw in, I gave him food. I had to pay for. I wouldn't give a damn if I had to pay for all the pieces every week. Which day you want them?
Not
I
all
get
the
a break.
pieces.
I order all the pieces. What day? Y'all going to the show? Okay, I got you. So that he can spend time with his father. Because we're only raising our children in stages. After 18, they're grown, they're gone, they're moving on. And now when they create families, that's going to be their immediate family. We're going to be second. And that's a lot even for mothers that don't know how to let go. You'll start interfering in a relationship, especially when it comes to sons, even daughters. We'll start interfering in that because we wasn't healthy at making sure we built that relationship. So now we want to hold on to the children. And now we're in their relationships. We gotta learn how to let go.
You hitting on so many topics, Jill. Like so many topics. And I like what Satin Baby Doll is saying, that it's all growth and maturity. That's literally the overall theme of this conversation. And you spend a lot of knowledge right now that is so needed. Because and I love what I'm hearing from you is that accountability piece.
Yeah.
There's no, and my major takeaway from this conversation, honestly, tonight is that there is no such thing as growth and maturity without accountability.
Right.
Facts.
Thanks,
You
Jill.
cannot. And you cannot. We cannot. I have to hold my hand up a lot of times. Even during COVID. And my one son was in South Carolina. I think he was stationed in South Carolina at that time. My other two, they still live here, but they at their places. And we were on FaceTime. And I had to get to them and I'd say, hey, I apologize. Man, you did good. You did great. No. I didn't ask you to pat me on the back. I don't want you to pat me on the back. Because I know at some point in life when I moved, I knew when I was moving wrong. I apologize. I could have been better. I'm not going to hold a father accountable for some things too that I know. Because I know what women do. We like to be like, you know, I did the best that I could do. I put my life on the line for this. Hold on, Missy. Really? Don't let this child come out this bag and tell you about yourself. You might not want to hear it.
And they're going to do that. They're going to do that.
Kids. Yep.
They might.
Any final words from the panel, y'all? Let's do any final words from everybody of what your takeaways are, your experience on this. I mean, we got so many things to talk about, and we'll get behind the scenes to talk about how often we want to have these conversations.
I do
and how we want to move forward with this panel. Go ahead.
Miss Jill, thank you so much for this evening and all the gems. And I know especially for me, it just feels very confirming, especially when you mention like the woman's ability to the real way to influence, right? With kindness and softness, and changing up the approach from ruling with an iron fist to, being polite and giving grace and showing grace. Like you say, I'll buy the pizzas. I think there's so much more power in that for women. I think that is the true essence of women, and having the ability to to orchestrate things without force. And as a maturing woman, I look forward to growing into that more, where I am emotionally mature, and ruling with a kind heart, rather than, like I said, this force or an iron fist. Like, that's one of my favorite things about being a woman, is being able to say a lot without saying nothing at all. So thank you for that.
I love that.
That's
Me
good.
too.
I love that. Anybody else have any closing words before we let the people go?
Well, my
Yeah.
takeaway oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go
My
ahead.
takeaway, okay, my takeaway from it is, taking self out of the situation. Stop thinking about me, and forgiveness is, a key. The forgiveness is just the key to freedom, to free yourself. And, because it's definitely, holding unforgiveness is definitely not hurting the other person, and taking accountability. Yeah, I really like that, Jill. We just have to own it. And when you can own it, you showing growth, you show that maturity for real. Um, and then you can take yourself out of the equation and put self aside, and just think about other people instead of yourself. Because when you think about others, when you're thinking about yourself, it's just all about me. It's just all about me and what I want, and that control again. So just letting go. So I really enjoy this. Thank y'all so much, because y'all really helped me too. Really helped me a lot. Appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you to Miss Jill. She really gave me a word about letting go and trying to fix certain situations. Just uh, learning to take my hands off of it and uh, pretty much put it in my son's hands. And I want to say thank you to Unpopular for having me. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to this again. This was great.
Definitely. Thank you,
Thank
Unpopular.
you.
This was good. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Okay. And I guess
you.
I'll have my last little words. I actually, I've been talking, honey, but I enjoyed the panel. I enjoyed the difference in conversation, and where we can move forward as Black women in healthy relationships, and health and growth within ourselves. I really do appreciate this. I really do appreciate running across you, Unpopular. You my girl now. I like you, honey. I like you. Listen, I have
Same.
not met you, but I like you, boo. I
Girl,
really
I
did,
went
because
looking
we
for
did
you.
this.
I'm like, I need Jill on this panel. I don't know where she is, but I believe I remember the name, and I'm so happy that you saw the
Right.
tag. This is so good, and y'all are the bomb. And based on the comments, people are enjoying it. We got another CJ Jones, who I've never seen in the chat before. I was raised in Mississippi, where it was normal being single. We had grandparents and aunts that stepped with rearing the child in
Mhm.
Christian environments with morals and values. That's very typical of a lot of Black
Yes,
families. Of it was normal
Hmm.
being single. Yep. And that, you know what,
exactly.
that's something else that we can explore the next time around, because that family structure and the things that we pick up eh, eh, during our upbringing is so consequential for how we move forward in life and our
Mhm.
decision making and the types of relationships we end up in. Like it's really, really, it's something. It's definitely something. So I think
Hmm.
it's never going to be a lack of things to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all taking your
Exactly.
time
Well,
out on
look,
a Friday
we're gonna
night.
be able to go on and on and on around here. So we got enough topics to keep it
Yeah, we
going.
did 3 hours
Exactly.
that first time total.
Y-
But since
Yeah.
it's late, um, But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody who came out to listen to our very first panel. I'm happy that y'all liked the panel. Coach Dion gave really good notes. That means a lot. She said everybody is being raw and real and transparent. I think that that's helpful because we can't have fake conversations about this stuff. Like you either gonna get in there and stay and get in there, or you gonna right. Like it is
Right.
a
Yes.
refreshing moment
Mhm.
to hear these different perspectives, and I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
You
So
too.
true.
Okay.
Appreciate
All
you.
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, everybody.
Until
Good
the
night.
Thank
next
you.
time,
Good
Auntie
night,
Until the
love.
next
Happy
Aurage.
meeting
time.
you.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
Bye, Entourage.
bye.
Good
Night,
night.
ladies.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Take care.